we go. Lai. Whatever you want. Do it, don't do it. I'm cool. I'm cool. Okay. So start with capo 2. Shabbat Shalom.
Hi guys.
You what? Oh. I got all my chicks back in my nest. They arrived after I left, but they're physically in my house right now.
I know. Live at the Apollo.
It's wonderful.
It's good.
I'm a person of habit, and hello, good Shabbos. You keep moving. No, Sharon, she's usually here. You're usually here. I'm such a creature of habit.
You guys
so
get
disruptive.
Extra credit coming tonight. Extra credit for sure.
It's your pod.
It's your pod. It's your temple. It's your Torah circle.
Watch it. We're not live yet. Oh, we are live.
All right, Robin. The calm is yours.
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you for braving the pre-storm that's going to hit us tomorrow. It's nice to have everybody together in shul. The before the storm. And good Shabbos to everybody who's joining us online. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת
continue with Kabbalat Shabbat with Romemu.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu.
We turn to the top of page 124, and we read together. We enter the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Where in its doubts, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshest of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayers. We continue now with our candlelight blessing 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
For those who are able, we rise together for our Kiddush 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemase v'reshit ki hu yam techila lemikra kodesh zecher letziyat mitzrayim ki vanu v'charta v'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen. We turn to the top of page 127, and please join me. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act that we care nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, and day of peace. We continue with Lachado D, the top of page 138.
Lachado D, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lachado D, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Shemor vezachor v'dibur echad, Ishmianu-El Hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'lid chila. Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor habracha, mirosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshavat techila. Here we go. Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, hivorech kumi uri, 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 shir daberi, kavod Adonai alayich nigla. Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela.
We rise together to greet Shabbat Hamalka.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uv'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi kala, boi kala. Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lechado di likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela.
The bottom page 145, we continue. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. We continue with our Chetzi Kaddish right there, the top of page 144.
Yitgadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirotei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei, Dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, Uvizman Kariv, Veimeru, Amen, Yeheshme Rabba Mevorach, Le'olam Olamei Almaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, Ve'yishtabach, V'yitpar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudasha Brichu, Leila Min Kol Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechemata, Damiran Be'alma, Ve'imeru, Amen.
Those who are able, we rise together, 146.
Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayers? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai.
We continue the top of page 149 at the top, and please join me. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way in which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. We continue with We Are Loved, which I would say is the contemporary Ahavat Olam 150.
We are love, 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 by unending love and unending love. We are love, 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 by unending love and unending love. We are embraced by arms that bind us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved, we are loved, 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 by unending love, an unending love. We are loved, 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 by unending love, an unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us, even when we are too weak for meeting. Everybody try. We are love, 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 by unending love and unending love. We are love, 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 by unending love and unending love. Embrace us, soothe and counsel, as are the arms, the fingers, the voices, as are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love. As one family, we are loved. We are love, 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 by unending love and unending love. We are love, 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 by unending love and unending love. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy in all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Ba'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Ba'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We're going to try something a little different. We're going to sing the Ve'ahavta in Hebrew, and it's a melody written by a fabulous North American composer, Michael Isaacson, who's done lots of composing for pieces we sing at our temple. If you don't know it, the best way to learn it is to pretend you always knew it. So sing the lai, lai, lai. That's all the words that you need to do to join in. And the rest might just flow because you already know the Hebrew. Lai, lai, ya, la, la, lai, la, 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 lai, ya, lai, la, lai, lai, ya, lai, lai, ya, la, la, lai, la, 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 lai, ya, lai, la, lai, lai, lai. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. יאי לי, יא לה לה לי, לה 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 לי, יאי לי, לה לי לי, יא לי לי, לה 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 לי, יא לה 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 לי, יאי לי, לה לי לי לי. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך. יאי לי, יא לה לה לי, יא לה 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 לי, יאי לי, לה לי לי, יאי לי לי, יא לה לה לי, יא לה 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 לי, יאי לי, לה לי לי לי. ושיננתן לבניך בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Last time, here we go. Yai, lai, ya, la, la, lai, la, 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 lai, yai, lai, la, lai, 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 ya, la, la, lai, ya, la, 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 lai, yai, lai, la, la, lai, 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 la, lai, 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 la, lai, lai, la, la, lai.
We continue together at the top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe it we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land. The winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. There's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Our song of freedom and liberation, our Michamocha 158.
Yai, lai, lai, la, lai, la, 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 lai, yai, lai, lai, la, lai, la, 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 lai, lai, ya, lai, la, lai, 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 la, la, lai, yai, la, lai, lai, ya, la, lai, lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, norat tehilot osefelet, norat tehilot osefelet. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe v'Miriam, zelianu ve'amru, zelianu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai, yai lai lai la lai la 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 lai lai, ya lai la lai lai, yai lai la la lai, yai la lai lai, ya la lai lai.
We continue together reading the top of page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Our Hashkivenu, our prayer that gives us strength, especially at night. The top of page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Save us sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, or pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim, l'chaim.
The top of page 163, and we read together, "We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time." We continue with Vishamru, the top of page 162.
Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Bein Yuvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Veshamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam.
The middle of page 165. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. We rise together for our tefillah on the next page.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yegi tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'imaot, Numevi Gula Lifnei V'nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Metim atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiva Ruach U'Morid Hagashem, Mechalkel Chaim V'Chesed, Mechayei Metim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim, umatir asurim, umkayem emunato lishenei afar, mi kamocha bal gevurot, umido melach, melech meimit umchaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'manata lehachayot metim, baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hametim, ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yihalu chasela, baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. We turn to the top of page 177, and please join me. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul or light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, and for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. We read together at the top of page 179. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul. May the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praise are you, eternal one, who blesses our people with peace. Shalom Rab, the top of page 178.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha livarech et Amcha Yisrael. Bechol leit ubechol shah, bishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
At this moment in our service, we think of those in our community who are in need of healing of body or spirit. On this Shabbat, we take time to think of Linda Applebaum, Cindy Silverman Bailey, Margaret Bell, Harold Seitlin, Deborah Chargois, Karen Edwards, Hannah Fox, Belinda Gammon, Edward Goldberg, Barbara Goldstone, Josie Hatfield, Sissy and Jack Held, Evelyn Held, Donald and Maida Himmel, Corey Kessler, Bart Kolber, Jerry Lapidus, Wayne Lewis, Marlene Meyerson, Joe Morris, Jeffrey Muss, Leslie Simon, Chrissy St. Charles, Brenda Weinstein, Joan Weisberg, and Carol Wright. For those with us this evening, if you are thinking of a loved one or friend and wish to share a name out loud, we invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. For those names mentioned out loud and for those names that are still in our hearts, we turn to our Misha Berach, our prayer for healing, middle of page 371.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the Mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. The past week, I've received numerous texts and calls from many members of this congregation with the hope of what if a Michigan-Alabama national championship game. And as we welcome Shabbat and this game happened last Saturday night, my response was that Michigan, has to defeat a very tough University of Georgia, known for REM, by the way. But we'll cross this bridge if there is to be a Michigan-Alabama game. And I'm sure if it does happen, this congregation will be full of excitement. My real team versus most of your team. But I recognize with football and where we are in the calendar year, pretty soon our children are going to be going on recess break. Our college students should be back. And again, we are off on vacation to get some well-deserved rest. And before we know it, we welcome a major holiday, we welcome New Year's, and then we have January. And I know this is when our kids come back to school. For some of us, we start to prepare for tax season, but there's going to be a lot on our mind. So if I could just teach you some Torah to process our lives before we deserve our true hafsakah, our true break from our realities, for those who are traveling and for those who just want to take a break. We're almost at the end of the book of Genesis, and in a few weeks we welcome Parshat Shemesh, Parshat Shemot, where we learn about Moses and the story of Pesach and liberation. But I think the message for us tonight, even as we conclude this secular year and we're off to new adventures the following year, is what our rabbis want to teach us. Every day we daven the prayer Elu Devarim, and this is a prayer that comes from Peah, from the Mishnah. It's about our obligations, our mitzvot, to ourselves and to the community. And this is where we learn about engaging in deeds of compassion, visiting those who are sick, accompanying the dead for burial, celebrating the wedding couple under chuppah. But towards the end, the rabbis are very clear about the idea of making peace between one and another, the idea of friendship, of reconciliation, because being friends is so much better than being at a state in some form of adversarial relationship. So a couple parshat ago, we learned about the reconciliation between Jacob and Esau. Jacob, who wasn't perfecting his true strengths as a human being, finally learned how to be a mensch, owned up to his wrongdoings, and apologized to his older brother, his twin brother Esau. And though it is true that many of our classical rabbis try to dismiss Esau's chesed, his genuine attempt to forgive his brother, there are brilliant rabbis such as Ibn Ezra who recognize this is what's all about, reconciliation. And so here we are at the end of the book of Genesis, when Joseph has elevated his status to be second in command in the kingdom of Egypt. And after his brothers owned up to their wrongdoing, and this was a significant wrongdoing of selling their brother into slavery and telling their father that he had passed, they finally recognized the horror that they did to their younger brother. And Joseph, being in a position of such power and authority, has two choices: to continue to hold his older brother Benjamin, to continue to punish his older brothers, or it's time to forgive. The great Rabbi Hirsch, another sage, Rabbi Arbanel, and the Akedah, we learn that towards we are at the end of the book of Genesis. Its theme is reconciliation, even when something is so bad. So when we go off on our adventures, when we welcome our children home back from school, when we turn on the game on New Year's Eve, and yes, I will be here, just know as we conclude the book of Torah, as we welcome the secular New Year, it's always so much better to get along. The power of forgiveness, the power of reconciliation can elevate our souls. And as Rabbi Hirsch teaches us, it's at this moment when Joseph's soul was elevated, because he accepted his brother's apology. Let's all elevate our souls. Shabbat Shalom. We rise together, return to page 586 for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoei haratzot, velo samanu kamishpochot adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kachol hamonam, vanachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu noteh shamayim veyoser aretz, umoshav yakaro b'shamayim imal, ushchinatu zo, begave meromim, hu Eloheinu einod, emet malkeinu efesulato, kakatu betorato, v'yadata yom v'hashavota, el levavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, bashamayim imal, ve'al haaretz, mitachad einod, v'nemar, v'hai Adonai, lemelech al kol haaretz, Bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, ushemo echad.
The top of page 593. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision and grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. And God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love we are comforted. O life over life, soul over soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. On this Shabbat, we recall the yortzites of Arlene Sachs Berger, Belle P. Gottlieb, Rose Ahrens, Daniel Alun, Noman Anan, Herbert Applebaum, Joni Plow-Speyer, Henry Robert Bettinger, Davida Sanborn Black, Rosalie Canova, Hyman Dorsky, Irene Eagle and Leo Eagle, Richard Allen Elkis, Frankie Engel, Abe Epsman, Sylvia Epsman, Ray C. Fleur, Nathan Goldstein II, Richard Irving Gottlieb, Harry Hanover, Carl Hess, Beth Hodes, Joyce Levine Cohen Jacobson, Benjamin Kahn, Mitchell Kravitz, Harry Krensman, Edward M. Lazarus, Claudia Levinson, Leah Ellen Marks, Martha Morton, Bertha Siegel Mayer, George J. Mayer, Leonard Melnikoff, Henrietta Michael Love, Annie Moskowitz Miller, Flo Ruth Morris, Miriam Goodman Phillips, Morris Randman, Ann Raymond, Abraham Isaac Rubin, Aaron Rosemore, Edna Minisman Levinson Rosen, Leonard Salit, David Schoenberger, Elsie Schoenberger, Sidney Spiderman, Goldie Spielgeman, and Morris Wertheimer. May all their memories forever be a blessing. We rise together as a united congregation for a mourner's Kaddish, 598. Yigadal v'gadash shemei rabbah, bi'oma divrach hirotei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon, uv'chayet kol Beit Yisrael, b'gala u'izman kari v'yimru, Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach li'olam olamei almayah, Yit barach v'hishtabach, hit ba'ar, hit romam, v'hit naseh, v'yit adar, v'yit alev, v'yit alal, shemei l'kudsha, barichu, le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damin ram bi'oma v'yimru, Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Osei shalom mimromav, hu yaseh shalom, Aleinu ve'akol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. We conclude our Shabbat service with bringing peace to all with Osei Shalom.
Osei shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. Ve'imru, amen.
Thanks again to our incredible song leader, Robin Berger. Please join us tomorrow night as we honor our musical director, Paul Masella, for 30 years. There may not be a Shabbat hike tomorrow morning, depending on the weather, but stay tuned for that. But there will be Torah study online. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.